What's up, Ragin Nation? How's it going? This is Alex Yu, and you're watching the TF Movie Show. This is just a web series. We're talking about the Transformers film franchise. This is episode number 88, and it has been a while since I made a video, a little bit over a month, in fact, and that's simply because I've been enjoying my summer. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll see that I've been doing a lot of outdoor stuff, enjoying the sun, the beautiful weather, and the great outdoors in the beautiful province of British Columbia. Anyways, summer is slowly coming to an end. It's still a very nice day today, but I thought I'd get a head start in making videos again for you guys. And today in this episode, we're going to follow up on my previous video revisiting Transformers Dark of the Moon. And I watched it recently, and I want to share with you guys my thoughts on how I feel about it today. Okay? And I'll just remind you guys that I did watch Transformers Dark of the Moon back in 2011 in the theaters 11 times, and I don't even know like how I came up to that number. It just happened to be a coincidence that I saw Transformers Dark of the Moon 11 times in the year 2011. Okay, I never even thought about it that way, but I just happened to watch it 11 times on the year it was released theatrically. And the other fact that I want to share with you guys is that based on the feedback and comments that I've read, Transformers Dark of the Moon is a lot of fans' favorite Transformers live-action film, or at least Transformers live-action Michael Bay sequel. I'm just talking about in the realm of the Michael Bay films, so the 5 films, all right? So out of all 5 films, they say that Dark of the Moon is their favorite, or they'll even say that Dark of the Moon is their favorite sequel because the first one is their favorite, okay? And after watching, or rather re-watching Transformers Dark of the Moon, I can see why, but I can also see, I also want to, it begs me to also ask the question, why do you like this film so much? Because I guess it gives you an idea of how I feel about it now, and that is, man, I got a lot of, I don't want to say negative because that'll trigger a lot of people, but I do got a lot of negative things to say about it. And, coming out of the theaters back in 2011, I made comments and tweets and social media posts saying like, this is the reason why we go to the theaters. This is an amazing experience. It's so much fun. And yes, it is. It is a lot of fun. This is a very, very fun movie. Michael Bay makes fun movies, and it was amazing to watch it on the big screen. There was a lot of hype surrounding this film, especially in the Transformers community. I was super hyped, and I came out even more hyped, and the 3D was awesome. They had James Cameron's 3D team, Avatar 3D team, working on this film, so it was fantastic. It was a great theatrical experience. Now I'm watching it, or rather rewatching it, 12 years later on the small, well, my 65-inch screen. And like from beginning to end, it's got a lot of like, this is a very flawed film, and I don't want to say it's perfect. Michael Bay films are they're just not perfect, okay? But they're fun. They're fun. I get what he's trying to do. He's like a big kid, okay? And a lot of his films, not just Transformers films, like they all feel, look, and like they feel and look the same, okay? And the way they are tonally, they are very much the same. He just tries to keep things fun, okay? So let's just start off from the beginning. We have Carly instead of Megan Fox, and she is introduced in a very, very very appealing way. And then at the beginning of the movie, I'm like, what is going on here? Okay, they got rid of Megan Fox, okay, for appropriate reasons, okay, but then they replaced her with a supermodel, Victoria's Secret supermodel, also Jason Statham's wife, and suddenly it's just not, Megan Fox was not plausible before, but it worked. But like now we switch to a Victoria's Secret model, and we have like a nerdy kid like Sam Witwicky, and that already bothers me a bit. I mean, because like looking at when I'm doing comparison with a Charlie Watson type of character, I would think that they would get along better, and seems like a more suitable match. All right, it just seems more realistic. Okay, but we're talking about aliens coming from outer space, so and transforming as well. So there doesn't need to be realism here. Just suspend your disbelief. But I'm just thinking about like the human aspect. We're already at the human aspect doesn't feel real at all, right? So that's the first thing. Okay, the next thing is that it is just too funny. Just too much humor here. But the thing about the humor in this movie, I don't think it's very clever. It's just Michael Bay's brand of humor, which you either like or you don't. Okay, at the beginning when I watched it, I thought it was funny, right? But then I've matured a bit, so it doesn't age well. Some of the humor doesn't age very, very well, and it is the way Sam Witwicky was written is very, very unrealistic. It's very, honestly, as a person, I don't think you will ever meet anyone in your life that will act like him. He's just obnoxious. He's just extremely obnoxious. I liked him in the first one because it established his character, but he got more and more annoying and more unrealistic with his human demands. Okay, it's like, I want to matter. I just saved the world, and I just want to matter. But the way he talks in his job interviews, who talks like that? Who talks like that? Like, that job interview sequence was just like, okay, this is just like just let's just skip all this. Okay, this is deleted scene material. Let's just go through a normal job interview. It doesn't have to be like a Armageddon style recruiting a montage. Okay, it just let's just get through it. Okay, and then once he meets the boss, played by John Malkovich, it just gets even more out of control. Then you introduce the Ken Jeong character. I forgot Wang, yeah. And that scene in the toilet, it was funny at the time, but it's just very it's very, very unnecessary. It just the humor is getting out there, and it like you don't know what the hell's going on, and the way they're talking is just it's just really bizarre. So anyways, yeah, it's just tonally a very all over the place film. Okay, I know it feels like I'm reviewing the movie for the first time, but like, this is just me revisiting it and just talking about it again and how it aged 12 years later. So I know we're talking about the human aspect of it, but yeah, like, it's just tonally all over the place because of the type of humor it has in it, like the human type of humor. All right, and then now don't get it twisted, okay? I love the highway chase. The highway chase is just like, it still might be, when you rewatch it again, it still might be one of the greatest car chases in the Transformers, the whole Transformers film franchise. Okay, it's just a really well put together scene, and that is simply because Michael Bay is good at this sort of thing. He's done it so many times. We've watched Bad Boys. We've seen The Rock. The Ferrari chase in The Rock was outstanding, okay? And, he's just very good at this sort of thing. The thing is that there was, I cannot get over this. This will always bug me, and that is, it's the way the the dreads knocked over that sign. The signs were this way, okay? So why is it when the dreads go over it, the sign suddenly went this way when it created a ramp for them? I will not get over that. It's it's not even an editing thing. It's a complete error. It's like a physical error. Okay, so that part was messed up, and I will always have something to say about that. Okay, besides that, the dreads chase was freaking fantastic, followed by the Mexican standoff, because why? This is the first time we see Autobots and Decepticons just like interacting with each other in a way, in a tactical way. All right, because the last time we ever saw anything like that was in the first film, in the Mission City battle, where they go cover fire. Great scene. I want to see more of that. So they do it again with Mexican standoff, passing guns to each other, interacting with Decepticons, negotiating with them, right? See, that's something that I want to see more of. That's why that scene is so great. It's got a lot of elements in there that really make it so much more more three-dimensional, for lack of a better term, because otherwise it's just be like bang 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 bang, bang boom, or just one shot, boom, scene over, end scene. There's more to it, so that's why the Ferrari chase followed by the Mexican standoff is such a great moment in the trilogy, if you will, if you talk about the three films when they came out at that time. You know what I'm saying? So that's why it's so great. Okay, so let's fast forward to the second act of the film. The Autobots need to they agree to go home, get away from Earth, right? And then Sam is sad, and then that scene in the theaters, when I watched it in the theaters, that was shocking. They blew it up, and I was like, oh. I was literally like that, right? And that scene is still legit. It's still a good scene. And then we forward to the Chicago battle. Okay, now that was a big, huge battle. Okay, the only problem with it is that, okay, this is a battle with it's a joint. I like that this battle so much more than the Revenge of the Fallen one, because Revenge of the Fallen was a military battle, military versus Decepticons with Autobots helping out. This one was more 50-50. They needed each other, okay? But you have this scene, this is a Transformers movie, and I think at this point, after a third movie, it's fans have accepted the fact that if Michael Bay's idea of that, if there are Decepticons, the military will be involved, and you will have full scenes, just like the Scorponok battle, full scenes of human soldiers fighting Decepticons. So we had that building scene, okay, and where the skyscraper crashing down against the driller, okay, great scene, but keep in mind that was full on human versus Decepticons. No Autobots were involved whatsoever except until the end. And even that, Optimus Prime, once again, always shows up at the, when he's always late for the battle. He's always late for the party, right? And I don't know what is up with that, but that's just, Michael Bay, it's his thing. He just wants to have grand entrances for Optimus Prime. It's always got to be a grand entrance, and I appreciate that. But it's just getting, okay, you've done it before. You did it 3 times already. Come on, let's just have him part of the battle, because he can offer and he can contribute so much more, right? So great scene, but I do, I have those things to say about it. How do you guys feel about Starscream getting killed by Sam Witwicky? I defended the hell out of the scene, because since Transformers 1 and 2, Revenge of the Fallen, Starscream always taunted him. So it made sense, looking back at that history, Sam Witwicky taking out Starscream was, seemed appropriate. But it leads us back to the fact that, it's once again humans taking out Decepticons. I want to see more Autobots taking out Decepticons. Then you have, snipers, shoot the eyes, use our grenades or our sticky bombs or whatever to take out Barricade and those, other guys, right? Shockwave was almost taken out completely, or, taken out so much by the soldiers. So the soldiers are very strong and overpowered. You know what I'm saying? Now, is there something wrong with that? Realistically, no, but for a movie, from a Transformers standpoint, I definitely don't want to see scenes like Autobots are captured. Come on, that was the biggest mistake in the script, okay? The Autobots being held hostages by the Decepticons with Soundwave leading them was one of the biggest mistakes of Dark of the Moon. Think about it, okay? Suddenly, Autobots are rolling into battle, okay? Autobot victory, Autobot victory. They're rolling out heroically. You got the music going on. They're rolling out in unison. You see so many different cars and like, oh yeah, I can't wait. And they don't do very much. They kind of just disappear, do their own thing. Suddenly, they're captured. And I'm like, what? And then when I'm watching it in theaters, I kind of just accepted it. We kind of, just had a side story moment and just, cut to the human scenes, and then suddenly we're back to the Autobots. They're captured. All right, it didn't make any sense to me. That's what they call a plot hole. That's the biggest plot hole in all of Dark of the Moon, in all of the entire Transformers franchise. How did the Autobots get captured? There are so many of them. They could have worked together. They worked together so well when fighting Sentinel Prime, in those brief moments that we see them fighting Sentinel Prime, but they don't do a very good job when they're fighting, like, Decepticon minions, which are very easy to kill, by the way. So I just do not agree with that at all, okay? Now, when you look back and when you really, really think about it, the final battle does play out. I mean, it's Michael Bay. It plays out like a music video. There's never really any focused battles unless it's the driller scene. The driller scene is a very focused battle. It's like got a beginning, middle, and end. As for the other, like the Autobots fighting Decepticons, they're just scenes. They're just clips. And that's the Michael Bay style. You'll see that even in Transformers The Last Night. That's just his style. They're clips, and you just kind of have to piece them together. As a matter of fact, I actually made a video where I took out all the human scenes and I tried to piece together just all the robot scenes, and it ended up pretty short. All right, and it was very interesting to see that comparison. Anyways, let's fast forward to them fighting Sentinel Prime. By the way, Optimus Prime fighting Sentinel Prime was great. Now we have an actual beginning, middle, and end. It's just all chopped up. It's just they had to go back and forth between humans, back and forth between Autobots, fighting Decepticons, and then they had to go back and forth between the pillars, Sam Witwicky and taking out the pillars, right? But let's really think about this. How many Autobots did they really need to win this battle? Okay, how many actual robot characters did they need to win this battle? They didn't need the Wreckers, honestly. Okay, fine. They needed the Wreckers to save Jetwing Prime from being entangled, okay? From that entanglement, okay? So they needed the Wreckers, okay? They definitely needed Optimus Prime. But did they need anyone else more than that? I don't really think so. I think all they needed was, if you just had military, Optimus Prime and the Wreckers, I think it would be the same movie. Because I think the Wreckers and the military they have the capabilities to take all the Decepticons, Soundwave included. They would have helped out in fighting Shockwave, which they did, and then Optimus Prime finished him off. And then Sentinel Prime was Megatron assisted in taking out Sentinel Prime. You know what I'm saying? And then Optimus Prime, takes out Megatron. So when you really think about it, all the other Autobots didn't really need to be there except for eye candy. That was the whole point of them. It's just to make the final battle look pretty, right? And so it just doesn't. It's just not very cohesive. It's just a bunch of scenes where they're doing this. The scene lasts 3 or 4 seconds. Cut. Let's go to a military just yelling out some military mumble jungle, time on target, Echo 3, A4, Beta 5, like all this stuff that we don't understand, like all this military jargon, right? So, and it's really pumped up, by the way. Steve Jablonsky's score makes it really, really pumped up. So if you're into the movie, you're already into this battle, regardless of all these things that I've talked about. So that's really, really exciting. By the way, the wingsuit sequence was fantastic. I love the wingsuit sequence. It feels like a ride. But that's how I feel about Transformers Dark of the Moon. I don't think it's... I mean, when you really think about it, it is the best sequel. Okay? Like, all things considered. Okay? But it's just not a very good movie based on those things I mentioned. As a Transformers film, this is still a military Autobot film, especially when it comes to the final battle. And I really dislike the Sam Witwicky character more and more and more because Sam Witwicky, Shia LaBeouf, he ad-libs a lot. Michael Bay loves that. So he just keeps on adding his own ideas to make him look more and more obnoxious. And then it just, it doesn't work for me. So I have a hard. I won't say that I have a hard time revisiting this film. I just don't revisit it as much as I used to. I'd rather watch Bumblebee, or I'd rather watch Rise of the Beasts. I'd rather watch the first Transformers film, where everything is just so innocent and fresh. It's brand new. So I'm okay with that. I accept that. I like that. But then afterwards, you kind of expect these films to hopefully get better and better. But then Michael Bay doesn't seem to learn. He just makes things bigger. He just makes things bigger and bigger and bigger. Okay, and just because you make it bigger using the same formula doesn't make it better. Okay, but don't get it twisted. It is a still exciting film. A lot of people like this film. I enjoy. It has its moments. I do really like the Mexican standoff, and the highway chase will always be something that will always be remembered as a great sequence. Okay. The final battle is just, it needs to be tightened up, needs to be more cohesive, and they need to take out, not take out the military aspect completely, but like tone it down. Just tone it down a bit. Let the Autobots do the work, and don't make them weak. Don't make the Autobots so weak that they just get captured so easily by nameless Decepticons. I mean, those were nameless Decepticons. That wasn't even like Decepticons led by, I don't know, like Cyclonus, or they didn't have a Thundercracker or Skywarp. These were nameless Decepticons, okay? They didn't name anybody that could have been really strong enough to take them out. Come on, it's Soundwave. Soundwave was the same vehicle that Soundwave transforms into a vehicle. The Autobots are all vehicles, so you try to tell me that they couldn't like outrace him or outdrive him. So, anyways, that's all I gotta say in this video. Those are my thoughts on revisiting Transformers: Dark of the Moon 12 years later. Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed that, and this isn't about me hating on a film. This is about me telling you that my feelings about this film have changed slightly. Maybe a little bit more than slightly. Anyways, we're going to watch Transformers Age of Extinction and Transformers Last Night and see how that goes. I honestly can't even remember a lot of things that happened in Transformers Age of Extinction. Last Night kind of sticks with me because it's just so bad. But I'm looking forward to Transformers Age of Extinction. I will tell you that I did have a lot of fun with that movie. Okay? Anyways, my name is Alexi. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace.